Alright everybody, hope you're doing well. Today I have a pair of knives. They're identical knives. They're made by Ontario. They're the survival knife, the US Air Force survival knife. Forget my daughter, she's goofing around over there. But I'll go ahead and show you these. I'll show you the differences between kind of the older one and the newer one. So this is an older one. I picked this up a few years ago. I've had a really old one of these from when I was a kid. And I always carried that one around as my favorite knife. I didn't realize how good of a knife it was. I got it at a gun and knife show when I was a little kid, and I just adored that thing. And I can't find it now for some reason. I don't know where it went. But picked this up. I took this. I proposed to my wife. I proposed that she marry me in the Grand Canyon, right in the middle of it, a place called Plateau Point. If you've ever been there and you know where that is, it's a beautiful place. It's literally a sheer cliff right on the Colorado River, in the middle of the canyon. You take Bright Angel Trail down. It's about a 12-mile trek, and to get to that place. And it looks. If you ever played the original Halo game, you have the canyons going up behind you and in front of you, and it's just a beautiful scenery. The rocks are like a mint green color down in the bottom. They go from being red to yellow in the middle, then to like a green minty color down the bottom because there's a lot of copper. But anyways, I took this with me and I had this on me the entire time, exposed and open, and it went from being a very pale veg tan color to this really nice brown color. Now, of course, I've carried this after that. I've carried this since. It really tanned itself from that experience. Same with the handle. The handle got really dark. Also because I oiled it a lot, the handle got pretty dark. I'll go ahead and show you what these knives look like. I'll go ahead and show you the sheaths actually. So what's interesting is, compared to this older one, the newer ones, the snap retention goes the opposite way. So the loop actually kind of goes the opposite way now. I don't know whether that's somebody putting it on backwards, or like one guy does it one way, one guy does it another way. I don't know. I'm not bothered by it because I can do it. It's no big deal. It's easy. So I'll go ahead and show you the sheaths. On the new one, it's very tight to get the knife out. On the older one, because it's more worn in, this slides out really easily. That's kind of a double-edged sword because on the one hand, you can get your knife very fast, but on the other hand, the knife, without this retention, it would just potentially come out if you bend forward or whatever. Probably not. But if you're like upside down or you fall down or something, this could come out. So without that retention loop, it's you need to be wary. So this comes like this. There's a sharpening stone in this pouch. One thing I figured out is that you need to take the knife out in order to open this pouch and get the stone out because it's a very tight fit. The way they do these snaps and these fasteners now is, sorry, there's a little bit of gunk on there. They used to be like a black coated brass, and I believe that's what this is. But they have plastic coating on the main snaps here and here, and as well on the top of these rivets. There's a steel back plate so that your knife doesn't gouge through the leather after a while and cut you. And it's got a front, like a butt plate for stopping if you set this down or whatever. Pretty cool. Nice touch. Again, the sharpening stone is in there. It's like a rough sharpening stone. It's not going to get you, super fine edge, but whatever. Like I said, the leather is veg tan, so you can do really cool. You can dye it or stamp on it or whatever if you want to do some kind of customization with it. This older one, of course, the loop goes the opposite way. I will say that having used this quite a bit, that steel backplate does bend outward, and I've had to hammer it back in place just to keep it from cutting my pants. I filed on it a little bit, and it actually fixed much of the sharpness, so it's very smooth now. No problems there. You can see the little bit of damage here, but for some pretty regular use out of this knife, it's doing pretty well. You see it's very dark compared to the other one. I've used the stone a lot. And the stone's holding up. So, but there's no plastic coating on these snaps. It's just brass. So the patina has worn off quite a bit. But other than that, these are pretty good sheaths for what you get. You pay about $33 to $40 for these. Stitching has held up very well between both. Very, very well stitched, well put together. Good, good sheath. So I'll go ahead and show you the differences between the older one and the newer one of these knives. They're both 1095 high carbon steel. Both clip point edges or clip point tips. And they both have a stacked leather handle with a kind of a hex nut peened pommel. So I'll show you the older one. You can see how dark the handle is. It comes from oiling this blade up and maintaining it. I really am a big fan of this. This is smoothed out quite a bit. It used to be very rough. It's very smooth and nice, but the stacking is so pronounced that you get it in the hand. It's got a nice swell right here, palm swell, and it tapers a little bit so that your pinky has a better fit. I've batoned and I've batoned with this knife, and I've used the back end as a hammer for pounding in tent stakes and things like that. It's a very effective little hammer. If you got to do light work, just use that as a hammer, or pound it really hard. It's very rugged. It's I've put a little bit of black spray paint on it just because I've marred up the finish, but just to keep it from getting rust. The peen is very nicely done. So what they do is they hot peen it. They'll run the end of that tang through there, and they'll either smash it down or press it down while it's still hot, and it'll kind of create a T shape. So like a rectangular rivet in the shape of a T, it'll come up and then kind of bend out like that. And it's a very secure fit for a pommel. Very classic sort of medieval style pommel. This has holes for making a spear, so you can put your shaft of your wood on there and then tie it. I found that having a little bit of a branch and then having the spear front go up against that, it's real makes it a little bit more sturdy. You can catch fish with this in a stream, or if you've trapped an animal, you can use the spear and kill the animal that way instead of having to get it with your hands if it's a raccoon or something, or a possum. So it's good that way. A lot of people mistake this sawback for being a wood sawback. It's not meant for cutting wood. It's meant for because this is an aircraft survival knife. It's actually meant for pilots who are stuck in either like a survival situation with a crashed aircraft, to cut aircraft aluminum either into pieces, or to cut themselves out of an aircraft fuselage if they're stuck in the plane, or whatever they have to do. So it's meant for actually cutting sheet aluminum instead of wood, but you can use it for sawing wood. I've kind of done that a little bit, but I knew from the start this is meant for getting rid of aluminum. So the knife has a fuller, and it's on both sides, and the clip point is sharpened. So it's got a sharp false edge here. You can see from use, it's sort of the phosphate finish, though very tough, has worn off just a little bit. It's a good knife though. Everything's still firm and not loose at all. Go ahead and put this back. Now this new one is a little bit different. The clip point is not sharpened, so it's the same thickness as the rest of the blade. So I would have to bevel myself an edge on that false edge there for the clip. But I don't know if I'll do that. There's no fuller on the blade, which is okay. It gives a little bit more heft, which is fine by me if I'm doing any kind of little chopping. I think even if I'm doing batoning, it might be a little bit more of a positive feature. Sawback's still there. The spear holes are still there. This flat bar stock sort of guard is just the same. Stacked handle is the same. It's rough and, not a lot of creature comfort, but it's not at all hard to hold. The fit and finish isn't quite as good. The swell right here isn't quite as pronounced, but that's easily remedied with a little, like a even an angle grinder with a sanding pad, you can just kind of knock this down and still be fine. Same peen. The peen is solid and fine. Everything's good. As far as the function of this knife, it's very well made and solid. It's just the fit and finish aren't quite as good, and I'm missing that fuller and the sharpened clip point. But other than that, you know, for 30 bucks, it's okay. It does fit really tightly in to this leather sheath. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with this knife. This is an old trusty knife I carry around quite a bit, and I'm very, very happy with it. I think it's like a 5-inch blade with maybe a 7-inch handle or a 6-inch handle, something like that. Just a good, solid knife. Kind of reminds me of my childhood. I carried a knife like this quite a bit when I was a kid, because I used to live out in the woods. And really, really cool. You can see the difference between these steel back plates. So these are full rivets on the back, and these have little eyelets. But yeah, that's the Ontario. Now a lot of people call these the 499. My pommels on this Ontario knife say 311. I don't know if you can see that, but it says 3-11. So I'm assuming that's the designation for this knife, but I don't know. I'm not really, you know, like a knife expert or whatever. I just know what works and what I like. So if these are different from the 499s, I don't know. I've never had one that said 499. But these are the Ontario U.S. Air Force survival knives. Very good for the money. I mean, for the money, you really can't get a better knife than this for what this is. It's a survival knife. So really good quality. 1095 steel blade. Really durable phosphate finish. Same as on like an AK. It's really good. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.